A divine message from Archangel Michael was blocked 7 times. Heaven just released it again. That's the sign of trouble. What's inside will open your spiritual eyes. The message you are hearing now was never meant to come easily. It was not delayed by mistake, nor was it paused by chance. This is not an ordinary word. This is not a coincidence. This is a divine transmission that was blocked 7 times before it reached you. And it wasn't blocked by human hands. No, the resistance came from spiritual realms where dark forces trembled at what heaven intended to reveal. This message carries spiritual weight, and something beyond the veil didn't want you to hear it. But now something has shifted. A breach has been made. Heaven has intervened directly. And what was once trapped in delay is now broken free like a trumpet through thick silence. This release is not random. This release is strategic. This release is war. The delay was not failure. It was divine warfare behind the scenes. Archangel Michael, heaven's commander and guardian of the chosen, fought through resistance in realms you cannot see, realms where your name was whispered and your purpose was targeted. What you're hearing now is the sound of victory after resistance. Understand this. Not everyone was meant to hear this. This is not for the curious, not for the casual listener, not for those with itching ears and distracted hearts. This message is for the awakened, the spiritually alert, the called, the sealed. This is a message for those who felt the tremors before the words ever arrived, those who sensed a stirring, a stillness, a pressing in their soul that they could not explain. For many days, perhaps even weeks or months, you felt the pressure. You sensed the silence. You noticed the strange delays, the sudden fog in prayer, the interruption of clarity. You weren't imagining it. Something has been trying to keep you from hearing this, but it couldn't hold it back forever. And now, as this message reaches your ears, heaven confirms, you were chosen to receive what was hidden. The silence was not punishment. The stillness was your preparation. The delay was a divine filter. You are not here by accident. This moment has been circling in the spiritual realm, waiting for your spirit to awaken and align. Heaven waited. Michael warred. And now it is here. This is your confirmation. This is your sign. This is your time. This is not coincidence. The delay was divine warfare. The release is your sign. Type "I receive this" in the comments if this message has found your spirit. Blessing code 444 has just been activated over your life. Hear me now, for the veil is thin and the heavens are roaring with urgency. Archangel Michael, the mighty prince of God's angelic host, now stands in full authority, his sword still blazing from battles fought in dimensions unseen. This message, the one that was blocked not once, but 7 times, is not merely a word. It is a wake-up call, a spiritual alarm, a divine signal that your timeline has shifted and your atmosphere is no longer the same. Michael does not speak without cause. He is not sent without heavenly permission. When he moves, it is because something of great consequence is at stake. And now, by divine order, he speaks, not with confusion, not with delay, but with clarity that splits through chaos and light that dispels the shadows that tried to choke out your destiny. Before this day ends, within the next few hours, something will shift. A tightness in your chest, that stirring in your spirit, that dream that felt too vivid to ignore. It was not emotional. It was prophetic tension, building toward this moment. The heavens have recalibrated their frequency, and now, finally, the signal has broken through. You are receiving it, and that means you survived something dark. The voice of heaven, your instruction, your alignment, your activation was being intercepted. Every time it was released, something tried to stop it. And don't you remember how it felt? The confusion, the weariness, the days you couldn't pray, the moments you felt far from God without understanding why. You weren't being abandoned. You were under spiritual attack. The message you needed was under siege, but your soul was still reaching. And now that the interference is broken, your ears are opening to the truth. You felt it, didn't you? The delay, the resistance, the pause that made no sense. Doors wouldn't open. Conversations went nowhere. Dreams began and ended in confusion. But now, Michael says, that season is finished. The silence has been broken. The sound of the Lord's voice will flood your life again, and this time, you will understand what the silence was preparing you to receive. But make no mistake, this message is not for everyone. This is not entertainment. This is not encouragement for the masses. This is a coded message for those who have endured battles in silence, those who felt like their souls were under siege with no one to explain it. This is for those who have wrestled angels in the dark, for those who have walked through delays and still remain faithful, even when heaven seemed quiet. You were not forgotten. You were being refined. The interference did not cancel the promise. It strengthened the urgency. So now, I speak this aloud. Michael, warrior of light, defender of the righteous, open their spiritual ears now. Tear away every veil of confusion. Scatter every lie of delay. Release the winds of understanding. Open the floodgates of divine communication. Let this word cut through fear, break past resistance, and find its resting place in the heart of the chosen. The time is now. The word is here. The delay is over. This is your confirmation. Type "I am listening" in the comments if you know this message was delayed for you. Blessing code 777 is now active over your alignment. There has been sabotage in the spirit realm, and you have felt it without knowing how to name it. Whispers in the night, thoughts that came from nowhere, unexplainable confusion, sudden interruptions, delays that made no sense. You thought it was just a bad week, or maybe emotional fatigue, but no. What you've been feeling is not random. It has been a direct assault on your atmosphere, on your alignment, on your spiritual clarity. For weeks, maybe even months, your spirit has been stirred, but your mind couldn't catch up. Things didn't flow the way they used to. Your prayers hit walls. Divine connections grew cold. Patterns broke. Time stretched. Even your sleep has been disrupted, because the enemy knew that a word was coming. A word that could shift your posture, strengthen your discernment, and pull you out of stagnation. A word so specific, so surgical, that once it reached you, your destiny would no longer be in delay. Something or someone knew you were close. They saw your light increasing. They saw you rising when you should have quit. They saw your consistency in private, and they knew, if this one receives the next instruction, nothing will stop them. So they launched a quiet war. Not a loud one, not an obvious one, but one made of whispers, false comfort, half-truths, and subtle exhaustion. Because it is easier for the enemy to distract a rising one than to stop a crowned one. You felt it, haven't you? That restlessness deep in your bones. That ache in your chest that wasn't grief, wasn't fear, but tension. Holy tension. A stretching. A spiritual disturbance that would not go away. It was not fear. It was not weakness. It was the tremble of transition. and the enemy tried to disguise it as disorientation, to keep you from realizing what was happening. You were nearing divine breakthrough. And yet the real question you must now ask is, who blocked it? Why now? What were they trying to stop? Because if something fought this hard to keep you from hearing, imagine the power of what is now being released. Imagine what is inside this message that made the kingdom of darkness launch delay after delay, disruption after disruption, interference after interference. The truth is simple, but sobering. This was a hit against your clarity, because clarity births boldness, and boldness births obedience, and obedience, real obedience, cannot be stopped by human hands or demonic interference. They tried to distract you, hoping you'd forget what God said last. They tried to delay you, hoping you'd miss your moment. But what they didn't realize is that delay does not cancel destiny. Michael was dispatched because the weight of this moment is not symbolic. It is strategic. He did not come to sue. He came to reveal the plot, to expose the delay, to unmask the confusion, to alert your spirit that you were under surveillance by heaven and by hell. And now, the disruption has been reversed. The message has reached your ears, and what was hidden in mystery is being unsealed with power. No more sleepwalking through delays. No more calling it a coincidence. You are not crazy. You are not unstable. You are not behind. You were being watched. You were being fought. But now, you are being activated. Type I am awake in the comments if your spirit is bearing witness. Blessing code 1717 has now surrounded you with insight and strength. If this word has pierced through your delay, if your eyes have opened and your spirit has been stirred, then I invite you to help us awaken more lives. This isn't just a video, it's a divine ripple. Every time you give, you plant a seed into someone else's breakthrough. Heaven multiplies what you release. The oil is flowing because the resistance has broken. When you sow into this message, you partner with God's voice, not ours. As the Lord says in Isaiah 55:11, "My word will not return void," and that includes the words spoken here. If you felt that this message was heaven sent, it's because it was. The first time I heard this from the Spirit, I knew it was for those who have been fighting in silence. Now, you have the chance to make sure another soul doesn't miss their release. The giving options are available through Super Thanks, channel membership, or directly via PayPal linked in the description below. This moment is sacred. Respond like it's holy. Release what's in your hand, and heaven will release what's in its heart for you. Move prophetically. Give boldly. Reap eternally. There is a war, not the kind fought with bullets and blood, but the kind that rages in the unseen, the kind that targets your hearing before your hands ever touch what's promised. This message, this divine word that was blocked 7 times, is more than a broadcast. It is a spiritual signal, a coded communication meant for a select few. And the delay you experienced was not simply inconvenience. It was warfare over revelation. When messages are blocked in the heavens, it is because they threaten the balance of darkness. When instructions from the throne room are intercepted, it is because destiny is dangerously close to unfolding. And so the battle begins, not against your physical body, but against your clarity, your direction, your obedience. This message was a target because it carries weight in the spirit. The conflict wasn't about what you've done, it's about who you are becoming. Understand this with certainty. Every delay was not proof of punishment, it was proof of your importance. You've been battling not because you're weak, but because you are rising. The stronger the interference, the higher the calling. And what many called delays were in fact intersections, launched by forces that understood what even you had not yet realized. You were being positioned for divine alignment. This was not random resistance. This was tactical opposition. Archangel Michael, heaven's battle commander, did not come lightly. He was released because the message you were meant to receive had been hijacked by spiritual gatekeepers in dark places. But here is what hell forgot. Michael does not retreat. Michael does not surrender. He wars until the will of God is established. And heaven always wins what heaven protects. So what does the delay mean? It means this. You were being matured in the silence. God was not allowing interference because he was unsure. He was allowing interference because he was sharpening your hearing. The delay forced you to discern. The blockage built endurance in your spirit. While you waited, you were learning how to stand without signs, how to believe without evidence, how to stay aligned without applause. Heaven allowed it so your spirit would grow in authority. And while all this was unfolding, divine surveillance never stopped. Heaven watched every detour. Heaven recorded every night of weeping. Heaven tracked every false voice that tried to speak over you. Not a single attempt to stop you went unnoticed. Not a single shadow moved without heaven's knowledge. This is not about paranoia. This is about perspective. The fact that the message has now reached you proves one eternal truth. You have already survived what was designed to silence you. This isn't just recovery. This is resurrection. This isn't just a late word. This is a liberated word. And now that it's here, it will do what it was always meant to do, activate the divine within you. The resistance was confirmation. The interference was prophecy in disguise. And now the very thing that was meant to stay hidden has been unveiled. The war was never about destruction. It was about protection, protecting what God has invested in you until you were ready to carry it with clarity. And now, you are ready. The veil is torn. The smoke has lifted. The battle in the heavens has been won, and now the victory is echoing into your reality. If you are hearing this now, then heaven has declared one thing over you with finality. You have already survived what was meant to silence you. And because of that, you are now dangerous to the darkness. Type "I have survived" in the comments if you bear witness to this war. Blessing code 2121 is now active over your discernment and direction. Let this be clear, this message did not arrive without consequence. The moment it was released from heaven, the realms began to shift. The sound that has reached your ears is not just prophetic, it is dangerous. Dangerous to the plans of the adversary. Dangerous to the systems that have kept you small. Dangerous to the forces that thrive in your confusion. You are not hearing this by accident. You are standing at the edge of a divine eruption. What hath been spiritual is about to become physical. Within 72 hours, something hidden will surface. Something long buried. Something you felt pressing beneath the surface but could never fully name. It will come up unexpectedly, in a conversation, in a dream, in a moment of stillness. But know this, what you are about to see in the natural is the aftermath of what hath been fought in the spirit. The same powers that tried to block this message are not done yet. They've been disrupted, but they are regrouping. They are recalculating. They are reforming their strategy, not because you are weak, but because they now know what you carry. You've been marked by heaven, sealed by revelation, and the moment your ears were opened, your presence became a threat. To listen closely. Watch carefully. Not all movement is divine. Just because a door opens doesn't mean it was opened by God. Just because a voice is friendly doesn't mean it is sent. Just because an opportunity looks golden doesn't mean it carries glory. Discernment must be your weapon in this next stretch. Heaven is warning you, not in fear but in wisdom. There are agents of confusion who will attempt to entangle you again. Old patterns may return in new packaging. Distractions may rise up dressed in urgency. The enemy's tactic now is not to fight you head-on but to entice you sideways. You must resist the invitation to overreact, to rush, to prove, to explain. That is the trap, and you are being prepared to see it before it unfolds. Watch who contacts you in the next few days. Watch what suddenly appears. What message, what offer, what conflict arises out of nowhere. Your name is being whispered, both in heaven and in hell, and the goal of the enemy now is to distort what was just delivered. But Michael's message comes not just as a word but as a shield. You are not alone in this. You are covered. You are guarded. But you must be alert. The ones who operate in impulse will fall prey, but the ones who move in stillness will walk in power. You are no longer just a receiver of prophecy. You are now a protector of the instruction. You must hold it. Guard it. Don't let it be corrupted in its infancy. Don't let emotional triggers distract you from the clarity you've just received. Stand firm. This is a time of holy awareness. Things are moving behind the scenes, yes, but not all movement is from God. Some storms are sent to reveal. Others are sent to remove. And some are sent to distract you from the door you were born to walk through. Pay attention. Stay grounded. Michael's message is not a comfort letter. It is a trumpet blast. It is both warning and awakening. And for those who will hear it and heed it, this will be a time of exposure, not collapse. A time of revealing, not retreat. But you must be ready, not reactive, not emotional. Ready. Type "I am ready" in the comments if you hear this warning in your spirit. Blessing code 9090 is now guarding your gate. Now that the message has reached you, and the warning has been sounded, the next instruction is not action, but stillness. Not rushing, but withdrawing. The temptation right now will be to move, to speak, to correct, to confront. But heaven is calling you to something higher than reaction. Heaven is summoning you to the secret weapon of the anointed, silence. Do not respond. Do not chase. Do not explain yourself. Do not try to make sense of what others cannot see. You are now under a different code of conduct. You are walking under Michael's shield, and those who move under his banner are protected not by noise, but by alignment. Heaven fights when you stand still. You must now step away from the noise. The world will tempt you to broadcast your transition, to prove your growth, to retaliate against those who misunderstand you. But you must know that every unnecessary word spoken in this season could be used as a snare by the very forces that tried to stop this message from reaching you. Your silence will expose the pretenders. Your restraint will uncover what words could never reveal. Heaven is issuing a sacred command: withdraw to discern, fast to sharpen, listen to receive, wait to remember. What's coming next will require full spiritual focus, and only those who are quiet in the natural will hear clearly in the spirit. The Father is about to release specific instruction, not just encouragement. Strategy, not just inspiration. But He will not shout above your distractions. He will whisper to those who are still enough to hear. Don't be fooled by the illusion of urgency. The enemy thrives in chaos, and he knows that when you are emotionally stirred, you are more vulnerable to misstep. But heaven's strategy is always the opposite: stillness before advancement, peace before instruction. hiddenness before manifestation. And this is your time to hide, not from fear, but in wisdom. You are being tucked beneath the wings of divine protection. You will begin to notice things shifting around you. Evil pulling away, conversations drying up, invitations ceasing. Don't panic. That is not rejection. That is divine protection. God is severing ties that would have distracted your next season. He is pruning your access, not as punishment, but as preparation. Let the silence grow. Let the disconnection unfold. What is being removed is not needed where you're going. Now hear this carefully. You are under supernatural surveillance. Michael is guarding your gate. The angels assigned to you are intercepting what you don't even know is planned. You don't have to fight every battle. You don't have to answer every accusation. Your stillness is your sword. Your obedience is your oil. Heaven is speaking while the world is stirring. Let them stir. Let them speculate. You stay hidden. You stay holy. You stay listening. And while you are silent, right, heaven is going to begin unveiling what the delay has prepared you for. You'll begin to dream again, not just random dreams, but divine instruction. You'll begin to sense who is truly for you. You'll notice peace increasing when you're in alignment and pressure rising when you're out of place. All of this is heaven teaching you to trust the signal, to trust the shield, to trust the silence. You are not unprotected. You are not overlooked. You are under Michael's shield. So declare it now. I am guarded. I am guided. I am grounded. Type I am hidden in his shield in the comments to activate your divine covering. Blessing code 3030 now surrounds your stillness with power. It is time now to shift. You sat in the silence. You discerned the war. You've obeyed the stillness. But now, heaven says, rise. Rise, not as the one who wonders what happened, but as the one who knows exactly why the delay came. You were being forged. You were being fortified. You were being formed into a vessel that could carry revelation without cracking under pressure. The delay was not weakness. It was preparation for power. You are no longer the one who trembles in the waiting. You are no longer the one asking for signs to believe. You are no longer the one hoping to be picked. That version of you, the hesitant one, the wounded one, the silenced one, has died in the delay. And in its place stands someone heaven recognizes as dangerous to darkness, reliable with divine instruction, and trustworthy with holy secrets. This message, blocked 7 times, was not just a word for your ears. It was a mirror for your identity. While you were waiting for clarity, heaven was sculpting your confidence. You were being baptized in the fire of uncertainty so that your faith could emerge as unshakable. Every moment you didn't understand was stretching the borders of your capacity, building spiritual muscle that you'll need for what's next. You see it now. While they were trying to delay your destiny, heaven was deepening your roots. The message had to be delayed so you could be ready to hear it without misusing it. And now that you've survived what was sent to silence you, your ears are no longer fragile. Your heart is no longer vulnerable to every counterfeit voice. Your posture has changed. Your authority has matured. You no longer simply react to resistance. You now command your atmosphere. You are rising like fire through ashes. This is not just spiritual recovery. This is divine combustion. The enemy expected to see you broken, but you have emerged burning. And what you carry now is not just testimony. It is torment to every force that tried to bind you. Your presence is now a contradiction to the plans of hell. You are a living interruption to what was meant to stay bound. And with every step you take in obedience, you announce, I am not who I was. I am not where I was. I am the one they tried to block, and I am still rising. This is not arrogance. This is authority. And this authority was earned in silence. You didn't have to prove anything. You let the fire do the refining. And now that it's done its work, the glow that rests upon your life is not performance, it's purity. The glory is not loud, it is weighty. And it follows you not because of popularity, but because of alignment. From this point forward, your steps must match your stature. Heaven is no longer treating you like a beginner. You are not being spoon-fed. You are being summoned as one who has survived the filtering. And now, your words carry fire. Your presence carries warning. Your discernment is sharp, not because of theory, but because of scars. This is what spiritual maturity looks like. It is quiet, it is clean, and it is powerful. You were not just delayed. You were deepened. You were not just silenced. You were sanctified. And now that you know what it took to carry this message, you'll never lower your frequency again. Type I am rising in the comments if this is your confirmation. Blessing code 8181 is now igniting your spirit with boldness. Now we reach the unveiling, the part of the message they did not want you to hear, the part that explains everything. This is the prophetic revelation that was blocked 7 times, the portion that stirred warfare in the spirit realm long before your ears ever heard a sound. Heaven tried to release it, but the enemy intercepted it, not once, not twice, but repeatedly, because this is the part that unlocks you. This is the piece of the divine puzzle that activates your realignment, your elevation, your repositioning. And it is not just a message. It is a mandate. So hear it clearly. The reason the message was blocked was because of what it carried. This word was never about comfort. It was about instruction. It held divine coordinates for your next movement. It held insight that would shift your decisions, and decisions that would shift your destiny. It held keys to doors the enemy has tried to weld up for generations. If you had received it too early, you would have doubted it. If you had received it too casually, you would have ignored it. But now, you're ready. You've been through the silence. You've passed through the fire. You survived the sifting. The enemy feared what you would become once you received this revelation. They fear what you would activate, what you would unlock, what you would remember. Because buried in this message was your original instruction, the one heaven spoke over you before time began. This was not just a new word. This was the restoration of what had been stolen. The message carried your name, your blueprint, your authority. And when you hear it, something in your spirit knows it's not information. It's confirmation. This is your spiritual promotion. This is not symbolic. This is not poetic. This is a spiritual elevation. A moment where your name has been whispered again in the courts of heaven. Where your alignment has been readjusted. Where your angelic assignments have been increased. You are not just hearing a word. You are standing in the middle of a spiritual shift, and heaven is backing your every step. This is your unlocking. The part of you that's been locked behind fear, confusion, trauma, or shame is being commanded to rise. You've been functioning in fragments. But now, by divine decree, your full identity is being summoned. Your full vision is being restored. Your full instruction is being released. Heaven held it until you could be trusted with it. And now it is yours. This begins a season of exposure, not to destroy you, but to reveal the real you. Things will start coming to light. Hidden motives will surface. Conversations that once brought confusion will now bring clarity. Not because the people changed, but because you have changed. You've come into agreement with truth. You've stepped into alignment with heaven's agenda. And now, nothing can remain hidden in your life. The false will flee. The fake will fall away. And what's been waiting on the other side of obedience will now begin to manifest. Receive this. You are not who they thought you were. You are not what they called you. You are what heaven has whispered over you in secret. And now, it has been released. The delay was divine. The release is prophetic. And what happens next will be undeniable. Type "I am unlocked" in the comments if this revelation is your awakening. Blessing code 5252 is now flowing with clarity and promotion over your life. When a message this deep is released, it doesn't just change a moment, it changes spiritual momentum. If this revelation opened your eyes and broke something loose inside of you, then I invite you to become part of the divine ripple effect by supporting this prophetic mission. Your seed isn't to keep content alive, it's to awaken more souls. Every super thanks, every membership, every PayPal gift sends the word into places where warfare has tried to silence truth. This isn't just a video, it's a spiritual broadcast into enemy territory. Heaven is using this message to break chains, not just in your life, but in lives across nations. As it is written, He gives seed to the sower and bread to the eater, and you are both. I heard the Spirit say, those who partner with this word shall partake in its reward. So move with faith. Respond like one who has just been activated. You can give via super thanks, join through membership, or sow directly using PayPal in the description below. This is holy ground, and when you give into holy ground, heaven gives back with fire. Now that the revelation has been released, now that the delay has been shattered and the silence pierced, the moment has come for activation. This is the part where you stop waiting and start walking. This is the shift from observation to occupation. You are no longer at the edge. You are inside the realm of responsibility, and heaven is waiting for your yes. Let this be declared clearly. Heaven does not move in circles. It moves in cycles. And this is a cycle that has opened just for you. A window, a passage, a brief and sacred span of divine permission where the heavens are watching not what you feel, but how you respond. You've cried. You waited. You discerned. But now the Lord says, it's time to move. This is the season of agreement. And agreement with heaven shifts atmospheres. It shuts down resistance. It rebukes the devourer. It silences the noise of confusion. Because the moment you come into agreement with the divine instruction over your life, everything that was blocking you loses its right to remain. You're no longer standing still, you are standing up. And heaven is moving with those who choose to act in faith. Write the vision. Not later. Not someday. Now. Take out the blueprint the Spirit gave you in dreams, in whispers, in early morning nudges, and put it to paper. When you write it, you birth it. When you speak it, you seal it. When you walk in it, you multiply it. This is no longer about waiting for confirmation. You are the confirmation. You are now the message. Can you feel it? That holy stirring inside your bones. That's not anxiety. It's divine urgency. That's the trembling of transition. That's the sound of the anointing rising in your life. You are no longer under observation. You've been marked for activation. And everything heaven has whispered is now pulling on you to step forward, not timidly, not cautiously, but boldly. This is the time to speak, affirm, declare, release, move. Heaven is listening. Angels are watching. The atmosphere is responding to your faith. Don't wait for another sign. This is it. This is the one. You heard the word. You survived the delay. You've outlasted the resistance. And now, heaven is asking, what will you do with what you've received? Your obedience is not about perfection. It's about presence. God isn't waiting for you to have every step figured out. He's waiting for you to trust that the first step will unlock the rest. This isn't about performance. It's about alignment. You've been asking for breakthrough. This is it. You've been praying for change. It begins now. You've been wondering what's next. This is next. Not in theory, not in potential, but in power. You carry the key. You carry the fire. You carry the assignment. And now it's time to walk as one who knows who sent you. You were not just called to receive prophecy. You were called to become prophecy fulfilled. You were not just chosen to hear the word. You were chosen to embody it, to demonstrate it, to release it wherever you go. Your voice has power. Your hands have authority. Your presence carries atmosphere. Heaven has invested too much in you for you to remain silent. Rise now and speak with fire. Type "I am the activated one" in the comments if you're stepping into your divine instruction. Blessing code 6363 is unlocking momentum over your voice, vision, and victory. There is a sacred truth you must now understand, one that took place beyond your sight, beyond your logic, beyond your comprehension. While you waited, while you wrestled, while you wept, something holy was being exchanged in the spirit realm. What you thought was loss was actually leverage. What you assumed was silence was actually strategy. What looked like delay was the divine setting a trap for the enemy, all while conducting a silent exchange on your behalf. Do not be fooled by what you didn't see. The silence was not absence. It was movement. The delay was not inactivity. It was negotiation. In realms unseen, angels were convening. Assignments were being rewritten. Swords were being drawn. Chains were being snapped. And your name, yes, your name, was being spoken in rooms you've never entered, rooms in heaven where verdicts are sealed and destinies are ratified. While you were still, while you questioned, while you lay awake wondering what went wrong, heaven was working. They were transferring strength into your spirit. They were retrieving stolen time. They were recovering lost ground. The enemy thought he had silenced you, but heaven turned the silence into a transaction. Every tear became evidence. Every prayer became currency. Every moment of obedience became weight. You didn't even know you were trading weakness for wisdom, pain for power, confusion for clarity. Even while you slept, the Spirit of God hovered. Angels walked the perimeter of your destiny. They stood watch over what you didn't even know was being contended for. And while others looked at your stillness and saw stagnation, heaven saw strategy. You weren't inactive. You were incubating. A divine exchange was being made. Your weariness for fresh oil, your torment for new authority, your limitations for upgraded revelation. And now the exchange is complete. You may not feel different at first, but mark this. Your frequency has shifted. Your spiritual bandwidth has expanded. What was blocked is now flowing. What was hindered is now accelerating. And it's not just because the message finally reached you. It's because your spirit caught up to the agreement heaven made on your behalf. What was stolen is being returned. But not just returned, it's being multiplied. The thief must repay sevenfold. The wasted years are being reissued in power. The lost clarity is being restored in double vision. This is more than compensation. This is divine recompense. And it didn't come through warfare alone. It came through stillness, through surrender, through trusting when it didn't make sense. This is why you couldn't shake the feeling that something was happening, even when nothing around you changed. Because your spirit knew before your mind could catch up. Your soul was catching signals. Your dreams were speaking in codes. Your atmosphere was shifting even when your schedule looked the same. That's how heaven works, in whispers before wonders, in silence before signs. You're not walking forward empty-handed. You are walking forward carrying something invisible but undeniable. A new authority, a new mantle, a new clarity. And this time, it can't be stolen. Because this time, it was forged in silence and sealed in heaven. The exchange hath been made. And now, the evidence is about to overflow. Type "the exchange is complete" in the comments if your spirit knows this was happening all along. Blessing code 7474 is now moving through your house, your hands, and your horizon. Now comes the moment of divine justice. The moment where heaven's gavel strikes. The moment where what was blocked becomes your breakthrough and what was withheld becomes your weapon. You need to know this. Justice in the spirit is not delayed, and it is never denied. When heaven acts, it acts with precision, power, and permanence. The same realms that watched the message it blocked 7 times have now watched it return 7-fold in your favor. Hear this in your spirit. You are not just receiving restoration. You are standing in the middle of reversal. What was used to humiliate you will now become the platform God uses to elevate you. What was meant to embarrass you will become your evidence of favor. You thought you were being held back, but now you will see. You were being held in place until justice was fully loaded. And now, heaven has decreed that the time of judgment has come. But not judgment against you. Judgment against what tried to stop you. This is the season where heaven's scales are tipping. God is balancing every ounce of loss, every drop of pain, every stolen moment, and He is turning it into double recompense. You will not walk away with what you had. You will walk away with more than you imagined. Because divine justice doesn't just bring recovery, it brings reward. Not by the world's system, but by heaven's. And heaven never underpays. This blocked message is now your proof. It is the receipt of what was fought for. What they tried to keep you from hearing will now become the very word that positions you ahead of schedule. The tables have turned. The blocked message has become your sword. Every delay is now a declaration. Every detour is now divine direction. What was set up to derail you has now become the very track that's launching you into acceleration. You are now operating under the anointing of reversal. The same people who question you will soon seek your wisdom. The places that rejected you will call you back. The systems that closed their doors will now make room. Not because you pushed, not because you chased, but because heaven reversed the flow. And when God flips a thing, no man, no demon, no system can stop it. Don't be surprised when tables turn without warning. Don't be shaken when those who tried to block you now act unfamiliar. That's not coincidence. That's conviction at work. Heaven is making it known. You were always chosen. You were always covered. You were always seen. The silence was a setup. The warfare was a sign. And now vindication is your portion. You will walk into places where your name was slandered, and they will call you blessed. You will receive messages from those who once mocked your obedience, now asking for your insight. Because when God restores, He restores with honor. He doesn't just bring you back to where you were. He elevates you above what tried to keep you beneath. That is the weight of spiritual justice. So do not shrink. Do not apologize. Do not second-guess your blessing. This is not luck. This is not coincidence. This is divine reversal. And you are the living evidence that when God says yes, no delay, no demon, no doubt can stop it. Let your head be lifted. Let your confidence be holy. Let your presence announce what heaven has already confirmed. Type "Justice has found me" in the comments if this reversal belongs to you. Blessing code 8484 is now manifesting divine recompense over your life. Let it be sealed now. What was delayed was never denied. What was blocked was never lost. What was silenced could never be stolen. Heaven preserved it. Michael warred for it. And now you've heard it, receive it, and been changed by this moment, this message, this release. It was for you. Not by accident, not by chance, but by divine design. You are not walking away from this the same. You are not just inspired. You are awakened. Your eyes have been opened, your ears have been recalibrated, and your heart has been marked with eternal evidence. Something has shifted, not just in your circumstances, but in your atmosphere, in your posture, in your identity. You now walk as one who had been trusted with a word that others never heard. Let it be declared now over your life. You are sealed. You are seen. You are sent. Your steps are guarded. Your gate is protected. Your hands are anointed to build what heaven has whispered. The same God who preserved this message through delay is the same God who will preserve you through destiny. You are no longer waiting. You are no longer unsure. You are no longer reaching for permission. Heaven has already confirmed you. Let peace wrap around you like armor. Let clarity rise like the morning sun. Let stillness walk beside you, and let favor follow behind. This word was a key, and now that it's in your hands, walk boldly through every door that opens. This is your release. This is your signal. This is your moment. The message has reached you. Now walk in what was released. Type "I am walking in what heaven released" if this message has sealed something in your spirit. Blessing code 9999 is now resting over your obedience and overflowing into your next. If this final word reached your heart and opened your spiritual eyes, then you've just experienced the sound of heaven invading delay. And now, I invite you to become part of the mission that carries this fire to others. Your giving is not about helping us. It's about launching more voices into alignment. Every time you sow, you help someone else break through the silence that once held you back. This message was blocked 7 times, but you helped it break free. Through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you can now release a harvest for others who are still stuck in warfare, waiting for clarity. This isn't about support. This is about sowing into divine justice. Heaven watches those who give where his voice is moving. The word says, "Give, and it shall be given unto you. Pressed down, shaken together, and running over." This is not a suggestion. It's a prophetic promise. So release boldly. Sow into the sound that broke your silence. And watch what heaven releases into your life next. Your act of faith will echo into eternity. Move now, and let the ripple continue.